Welcome to the Redirect Podcast. My name is Abigail Hewins.
And I'm Emily Rojas. The Redirect Podcast is a show where we shift the conversation back to books. We discuss themes from some of our favorite books and how those themes show up in real lived experiences.
On today's episode, we are hosting a book club about Funny Story by Emily Henry.
But before we get to that deliciousness, if you enjoy the pod, we would humbly ask if you could support us in a few simple ways. First, you can leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts or anywhere else that you want to smash 5 stars and let us know that you love the show.
We'd also love for you to follow us on Instagram at Redirect Podcast. And finally, if you really, really love the show, please share it with a friend. Sharing our show with a friend is the best way to help us grow our community, and it's the perfect time of year to start sharing content about reading because everyone has summer reading goals. I have summer reading goals. It's an exciting time to be alive. So, share this episode with a friend.
Share it. Okay. Hello.
Hello. How are you?
Good. How are you? I am so excited for this episode. I have been excited for this episode since Emily Henry announced the title of her book, Funny Story. And
can I just say, I am so excited to talk about this, and I'm also already depressed.
Yes.
that it's going to be like another year until we get another one.
I know. And it's amazing because she honestly writes and turns around books way quicker than a lot of authors, but it's still not fast enough. But I don't want it to go any faster. I don't want it to get out of control, but it is sad that you have to wait.
Protect your peace. Protect your peace, Emily Henry.
Literally, the second I stopped reading this book, I was like, should I reread Happy Place? Because I just wanted to keep staying in the Emily Henry universe. I didn't because I didn't want to get my brain confused before recording this, but after this, I may go reread at least one of her,
I might go back and read Book Lovers. That's my fave.
Yeah.
But I will say I'm really happy for the young women in the future.
Yeah.
Like who are not old enough to read her books yet, but like one day they'll be like on spring break in their sophomore year of college and they'll be like, I need to pick something to read. And then they'll like pick up a few of her books and there will be like so many. And then she's going to tear through them all. And I'm really happy for that girl.
Yeah.
Because she's going to be able to like keep the party going like one after the other after the other. And to you, I hope that girl in the future, I hope that this podcast finds you.
Yes.
And
welcome
good luck.
to the past.
Welcome to the past. We're doing okay.
Yeah.
Pretty much just okay. But
we love that.
Yeah. I will say like this, I've never been in a better place to read an Emily Henry book.
Yeah.
I'm less than a month to my wedding.
It's perfect timing.
It's like I'm thinking about love all the time. I'm feeling like sentimental and, happy and stuff. And this book just, it was it. Like I just needed it.
Yeah.
It
and
was
I think
so
this book,
good.
before like very late discussion before diving in, but I feel like this book is perfect for like spring, almost summer, like the vibes. It takes place over a summer, so I feel like that helps. But honestly, just the energy of the book felt like perfect for this time of year as well. So I feel like this was a great time for it to come out. Yeah.
So context for this episode, we are going to be book clubbing it, which means we are going to talk about spoilers. We're going to quote things that happen. We're going to talk about the end. And if you have any interest in reading this book without having spoilers, please go read it first.
Yeah.
And then
pause
come back.
Here and then come back.
Because we want you to enjoy the book for what it is and not just listen to this and ruin it.
But if you have no interest in reading it, then stay with us because you can get the whole thing and then you can discuss with your friends and pretend like you read it and have opinions and just steal them from
know
us.
yourself. Are you going to read this or not? Whatever. So Emily, do you want to give just like before we dive in, like a brief synopsis of the plot?
Okay, sure. So basically this book follows Daphne. Daphne's our main character. And she was raised by kind of a single mom, had a dad who was in and out of her life, very unpredictable, very, mentally ill dads genre of books we've covered on here.
Yeah.
But not as mentally ill in a sad way, more just like in a flighty way. And so anyways, she is engaged at the beginning of the book to marry Peter, who is kind of like has a big family, has a lot of money, is very established, very predictable. And on his bachelor party, a few weeks before their wedding, or months, whatever, his longtime childhood best friend, Petra, confesses her love to him, and they decide to run off together. And he basically comes home from the bachelor party and is like, hey, we're going to go on this romantic vacation, and you have a week to move out of the house that has my name on it because I bought it. So she kind of finds solace with the only other person who might understand what she's going through, which is Petra's ex-boyfriend, Miles, and he allows her to live with him, which she sees as very temporary. She's like, I am out of here after the summer's over. I only moved here for Peter. But there's like fake dating. They try to pretend to date to get back at Peter and Petra. And really, I think the main thing is he's like, I'm going to convince you to love it here in this small town in Michigan, and I'm going to show you around and like show you all these experiences, and then you can decide if you want to stay or not. And so that's kind of the gist of it. I mean, did I leave anything out, do you think, for now?
I mean, that pretty much doesn't. It's a romance book. You know, they're going to get together in the end. But how? It's a good question. I think the thing that surprised me most about this is it was really branded as a fake dating book. But I really don't think that it is.
No.
I think that the fake dating is just a very minor element. Like, it's the impetus for just a little bit of confusion between their exes and them. Yeah. But otherwise, they're not like really going on fake dates so much, or like it's really more of like friends to lovers.
Yes.
I think.
And that was actually, I mean, not to skip way ahead in this outline we have, but that was my one thing about this book. And then I would love to hear also, like, what did you think about the book? What's your rating? But yeah, I didn't think like you said, I love a fake dating plot, but I actually love friends to lovers way more. And I thought that the fake dating honestly could have been taken out of this book and the book stays the same. In my mind, I thought they would, because the whole way this fake dating starts is they accidentally RSVP on a drunken night to attend Peter and Petra's wedding, since they're going to get married
because they were invited.
Which is insane.
So,
like, I feel like that whole side plot could have been taken out. Like, they shouldn't have been invited to the wedding. Like, they shouldn't have done this fake dating thing. And I think because there was already a spark between them before that moment, before they started fake dating. And like you said, there is no payoff. Like, they don't go to the wedding. They don't really... I mean, there's a couple moments where they have to pretend, but for the most part, that's not really the meat of the book. So I would say if you're like really banking on the fake dating, maybe just know that that's not the real thing that's going on here. It was like the impetus for their first kiss, but that was really it. Yeah. Like she only really used it for that. And I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad that it wasn't a payoff. I just think it was kind of a surprise that it was more like proximity and friends. And like I wrote so I actually did something fun, and like for the first time ever I annotated a book while I was reading it. I love that. And so I had different like highlighter colors for like different like reactions that I had at different parts of the book. But I made a note in the margins at one point when they were really hitting it off as friends, like they had like this connection, and I was like, I made this note, like as soon as they do get together, they're going to get married so fast, because they're building all of this like intimacy and connection, like emotionally, in their friendship first. And it was also a bit of a slow burn. Like it took a while. Yes. Frustratingly. And if you love that, you love that. If you're like, oh my God, there was one point where I wrote in the book, if they don't just get together already, I swear to God, like, I'm so sick of it. It was definitely a slower burn for sure.
Okay, but to answer your question, I loved this book. I mean, it's like a 5-star for me, but I love all of her books. I think this ranks up there. I mean, just recency bias is making me probably put it up higher than
sure.
But I think probably still my favorite is Book Lovers. But I also really liked this one, and I related to the characters a lot. And I have a sneaky suspicion that Emily Henry connects most with Daphne, the female main character in this book, of all of the characters she's written. And so I feel like I could sense that a little bit, like in the way that the character was developed. What did you think about the book?
I really like the book. Like you said, I love all her books. I would say every single Emily Henry book is a 5-star for me, but they're on different, like to me, Happy Place is God tier. That's my favorite one. And you guys know I love an angsty book, a yearning, a longing, pining. And that book is that to me. It's so sad. This book might be like second. I also love, controversially, People We Meet on Vacation, but that's another like somewhat angsty one.
I'm not mad at People We Meet on Vacation.
No, but a lot of people don't like that one. Like that is always consistently, I feel like, people's bottom ranked Emily Henry book. So yeah, those are my tops. This one is definitely up there. I don't think it beat out Happy Place for me, but I really liked it. And I just love how, like, to me, Emily and Henry and Talia Hibbert are on the same level of like such real characters.
Yes.
And I loved, like, Miles, he wears Crocs and he kind of smells like weed, but also like a cellar. And he likes sad music, even when he's not sad. Like, there's just so many little details about these characters that make them feel like real people that you might know. Yes. And I think that's what makes her book so good, because you're like, this is, I don't know, sometimes you read romance and you're like, how do these people even fall in love? There's nothing defining about them. Like, there's nothing, you know, it's like a perfect girl and a perfect guy or whatever. This, to me, they're so real, they're so complicated, and they're flawed, and they have to overcome things. So anyways, I love this book, just to get it off the bat. But
another thing that, like, I saw you put in the outline, did she put narcotics into all of her books?
Yes.
Like, yeah. But I think part of it is she's really, 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 really good at showing and not telling.
Yes.
Like, the first chapter of this book is or maybe it's the second chapter. Like right at the it's right at the beginning. They're like, she's talking about basically Peter leaving her and like how that all went down. And she's telling it like through the lens of her being like sitting at home on his bachelor party night, like falling asleep on the couch and reading, and like what happened. And then Miles showing up, and after Peter leaves and she's just like sitting there being sad, Miles is like, he stumbled up to the door and he says, "Is she here?" He asked thickly. No, numbness settled over me. I threw some almonds at them as they drove away. He nodded, the sorrow deepening across his face as if he knew exactly what that meant, and it wasn't good. Shit, he rasped, slumping against the door frame. And it's like a worse author, somebody who is not as skilled as she would be like, and then Petra's ex showed up and he looked at me like he was really scared, and I tried to guess what was happening. Yeah. But like, she doesn't have to say any of that. She just shows it. And that's a mark of a really good author, IMO.
Yes. I will say too, she knows how to freaking punch you in the gut, because the whole time I was reading this book, honestly, I was like, wow, this is so much funnier than Happy Place. This is like
so funny.
It's a delight. Like, I'm having a great time. And then all of a sudden at the end, I'm literally crying my eyes out reading this book.
Yeah, same.
So
oh my God. Can we just hold on?
Yeah.
Okay, the beginning of this book is about Peter telling the story of how they met. She's like, he always tells the story of how we met, blah, 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 blah. And about like, I'm sorry, I'm heaving right now, about how he loves telling the story.
He's a great storyteller, yeah.
Over the years, he's made it his own. And the end of this book is Miles and Daphne telling how they met. And he says, Elda clasps her hand together. Oh, I love a good meet cute. Let's hear it. I crane my neck over my shoulder to look at him. His dimples sink into his beard, and it feels like my heart is unzipping. Stepping out of its callous skin, a glowing sunlit thing. Funny story, he says, but he doesn't go on. He just watches me and waits. He knows how much I love to tell it.
I know. Yes.
She has this power to like manipulate you.
Yeah.
To the point where you're like ripe for the punch, and then she just guts you with like the cutest, sweetest, most satisfying payoff ever.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Yes, exactly. Can I ask a question while we're talking about crying our eyes out? Okay, because now I'm really confused, because I've been reading a lot. I just want to know what the vibes were about this book, and I'm seeing mixed things. Some people don't like Miles. They got the ick.
What?
I've been seeing a lot of icks with Miles. And here's my question, and this is one thing I've seen come up a few times, and I think maybe I got lost in translation. So you can help me decipher this because, anyways, I was reading through my tears. So at the end of the book, Peter and Petra ultimately, spoiler alert, they don't work out. They realize we just had these ideals of what it might be like to be with each other. But like, you know, it didn't, in reality, it wasn't what we thought it was going to be. And when they break up, Miles goes to help Petra move. But my understanding was that later it's revealed that he actually went to go beg her dad to come back because her dad had left. We can get more into the dad stuff later. And that was like his cover story because he didn't want to tell her, because he didn't want to hurt her feelings or break her heart, that like her dad said no, he wasn't coming back. But I've seen a lot of people say like he actually did go to help Petra and that's why they didn't like him, because like he went to help Petra and he abandoned her and he's like not good with commitment. So I'm really confused because did I misunderstand that?
No. They're misunderstanding this. He did both. He went to go talk to the dad and then he got this call from Petra and he also did that.
Okay, so he did do both. So he was helping Petra. I've seen some criticism.
But I don't think that it's, in my opinion, I don't think it's bad that he was helping Petra.
No, but it probably was bad that he didn't let her know that he wasn't coming. And he didn't communicate with her.
I mean, he screwed up.
Yeah.
And he knows he screwed up.
Yeah.
Okay, whatever. Okay, for me, Miles was my favorite male main character of any of her books. How I described this to someone the other day who was about to read the book is I was like, he's Nick Miller, but emotionally mature. Nick Miller from New Girl, but like isn't such a baby.
Yes.
He just has that vibe, and I thought he was. Their banter is hilarious.
Amazing. Yes.
There's some extremely funny moments. Things that I just really, really loved. Like for instance, there's this line on page 22 when she's introducing Daphne's like best friend of the book. Her name is Ashley, and she spells her name like my sister spells her name.
Yeah.
Leigh. But she said, yes, her son is named after David Duchovny's character from the X-Files. Every time I remember this, I inch closer to death. I highlighted that as being really funny.
Yes. Yeah, there are a lot of laughs this book. Like I said, until the end with the dad stuff and then Miles like kind of making a very bad mistake. To me, this was one of the, I do understand, I really do, for all the people who are Miles haters. I liked Miles, and I think Daphne needed to learn how to forgive this kind of mistake, because I think part of her whole journey and how I understood it was like, because of her dad not being a consistent figure in her life, she has come to a place where she won't tolerate any inconsistency. But by the end of the book, like with her friend Sadie, who kind of was a bad friend, eventually she got to a place where she was like, I can forgive her. Like, I can make the first move, because Sadie's also doing the best she can. She also has her own, like, you know, she had her own reasons or whatever for why she reacted the way she did. Same thing with Ashley. Like, she has this fight with Ashley, which she was definitely in the wrong, obviously. But then, like, she learns how to, like, be the person who's extending the hand versus being the person who's building the wall. And I think it's the same thing with Miles of, like, yeah, what he did, he went to help Petra. He went to ask her dad, whatever happened. He didn't pick her up from the library. He bailed during an important moment, whatever. But she had to become, like, part of her journey was being the person who could say, like, I can forgive you for that. You know what I'm saying? So I understand why people didn't like it. Like, but that was, I think, important to her in her arc in this book, you know?
Her defense mechanism from life is to like build walls and run away and like keep people at bay when there's like any sign of things cracking or something going wrong. But she's learning how to be more resilient and allow grace, and while still enforcing boundaries. Like she's enforcing boundaries with her dad. She's learning to like,
that's the part that made me cry.
When someone is just a loser and isn't able to show up for you, and when somebody just needs a chance to be forgiven.
Right.
And I resonate with that a lot.
I did as well.
I really resonated with it. There were several times where I wrote like, stop yelling at me, Emily Henry. Like, there's one part where Miles says to her, it's just, he shakes his head, you always assume I'm being so selfless. Like it hadn't occurred to you I might want to hang out with you.
Yeah.
So when you turn me down, I have to figure out if you don't feel the same way or if you think you're doing me some kind of favor. And I never can. And I feel that like it's okay for me to do nice things for other people, but it's not okay for other people to do nice things for me because it's an inconvenience for them.
Yes.
But when I do it for my friends, it's not an inconvenience.
Yeah.
Like that felt so real.
Oh, absolutely. That is so relatable because I'll be like, I mean, not that this is a therapy session, but in like my relationship with Eric, I'll be like he is more than happy if I was like, hey, can you help me clean up after dinner or something? Or can you clean up? But then in my mind, I'm like, no, like that's such an inconvenience. But then I never think it's an inconvenience for me to do it. You know what I mean? So I so related to her in this of like, oh, like, yeah, like he's like, hey, I want to take you to go do something I really like. And she's like, thank you so much. Really, thank you. And he's like, no, like I am selfishly wanting to spend time with you. It is
like,
not.
I actually like you.
Yeah, this isn't altruism. This is like, I want you to stay here. I want you to like me. I want to spend time with you. You're a fun person to be around. Like, but yeah, that is really hard, I think. So Daphne was sadly relatable in that.
Yeah, and he was relatable to me too. I thought that there was lots of things about him, like in the way he interacted with his family, that were really relatable, and just kind of like he really wants to quarantine his sadness. Yeah, which I get. Like he didn't really want to lean into it, and I don't know. Yeah, I really liked him a lot.
I did too, and I loved every character in this book. Like I really liked Ashley. I really liked his sister Julia. You know, I liked those kind of secondary characters, and I liked the town. And I really would love to know if anyone here has been to Michigan. Is this what Michigan small towns are like? Because the South, small towns are not like this. They're not cute. They don't have really good chai, you know? So, but then I've seen some commentary that this is really what it's like up there. So it sounds lovely.
If my sister is listening to this, she'll probably be chiming in from her car. But her in-laws have a vacation home on Lake Michigan.
Yeah.
And she said that the town is like this. I mean, like the way she describes it is like this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That sounds amazing.
It's like very like small town America, cozy vibes. So
I would love to experience that one day.
I think that might be what it is like. I don't know if I would live there, but
no, but visiting sounds
shout
great.
out to her for wanting to live there, I guess.
Spoiler alert, by the end, she does want to live there.
Yeah, she does choose to live there. There's one other thing I wanted to say about her being really masterful with showing and not telling. At the beginning of the book, she talks about when she met Peter, one of the first things that they talked about was like, do you want to have kids? And he was like, yeah, I totally want to have kids, like whatever. Yeah. And that really connected with her because she really wants children.
Yeah.
Then on page 125, there's a parallel because they're not in like a dating conversation, but in like just a casual conversation with Miles. He says something to her like, you'd be a great mom. And she says, it's the kind of thing everyone says to their friends, but I believe him when he says it, and I'm strangely touched. What about you? You want kids? And he says, I wouldn't know the first thing about being a dad.
Yeah.
Which isn't, I don't want kids. Yeah. But it's like this honest answer. I don't know the first thing about being a dad.
I have a broken family, bad parents.
And it's like the honesty and realness of Miles compared to the like fake veneer of like perfect life.
Peter, yeah.
You know, wheatgrass, go to the gym, CrossFit Peter compared with Miles. And like Miles is ultimately what she needed. Yeah. And she never, like, Daphne never sits down and reflects on the difference between them, but this is like an incredible way for her to show it.
Yes. Master class, Emily Henry.
Yeah. Yeah. So we have both identified a little bit with Daphne. Like, were there any other situations or things that you related to in the book?
Yeah, I actually really liked kind of how, this whole concept, and it was woven in there, of like when you're a person who becomes a we and not like an individual person in relationships, I really liked that. And I think it is really hard to not be that way sometimes. But I think it's so important, like, if there are especially younger girls reading this, of like, you can't put your female friendships like to the back burner, which is what really Daphne does a lot, it seems, in relationships, or even her own identity. Like with Peter, she was like in the gym and drinking wheatgrass, and she just let him cook whatever he wanted, and like her life didn't matter as much, or her opinions or whatever, her interests. And I really liked her kind of experience of both with her falling out. So with Ashley, she kind of makes this friend, Ashley, at work, and Ashley's like, I hate birthdays. I don't celebrate birthdays. Her birthday's coming up. And Daphne kind of convinces her, like, come on, like, we'll paint your bedroom, which your ex-husband never let you do, or whatever. And then Daphne flakes on her. And so they have this big fight, and it's like, is this going to be the end of their friendship? And so I just really liked that kind of storyline of like her. And then at the end, like, she moves out of their shared apartment and is like, no, like, I need to go be my own person.
Yeah.
I'm going to live here because I want to live here, not just because I have a convenient boyfriend I can live with or whatever. And I really liked that. I thought, like, you don't see that very much. And especially, like, the timeline of this book is really compressed. And they both just got out of, like, really long, or not both engagements, but an engagement and a long-term relationship. And so I think that's important of, like, this is real. Like, you guys don't need to live together. Like, you do need to go live apart for a while. And so I really identified with that. And also with Daphne's, like, difficulty making friends, I really felt like I resonated with that, of just like, I am always impressed, and this is something she falls in love with Miles about, and I get it. Like, when I see someone who so effortlessly can talk to any stranger or whatever, because I just don't have that skill, and so I really related to her. And then I just, like, I feel like Ashley was talking to me sometimes, of being like, hey, like, a friend is someone you talk to about this stuff, like a friend, because Daphne's always like, I don't feel like I should share this, I, like, don't want to open up, I don't want to talk about it, and I'm like, yeah, I really relate to that. And so I heard Ashley being like, hey, like, this is, again, it's like the thing we were talking about earlier, of friends want to hear those things about your life. And sometimes if you are always like, I'm in a position no one actually likes me or whatever, like, they're doing me a favor by hanging out, then it's easy to feel like, well, I shouldn't talk about this part of my life. But, you know, it's like in The Office when Pam and Jim are talking and she's still with Roy, and Pam's like, yeah, I try not to bother about this stuff. Jim's like, you mean your feelings and your thoughts? But sometimes it is easy to just be like, I'm imposing on someone. And so I related to Daphne in that way. And I liked Ashley being like, no, like, you're a friend. This is what friends do. We hang out, we talk about stuff, and we gossip, and we share about our lives, and we're, you know, that's how you make a friendship. So anyways, that was a lot. But anything else you identified with?
I mean, I think like a little bit in the reverse. I related to Daphne in many ways, but I really related to Miles too. In the terms of my relationship, I feel like I'm more like Miles, and Zach is more like Daphne. I'm really good with people. I'm outgoing. You know, it's easy for me. And he's so much more introverted, and keeps smaller circles, and is slower to trust others. And I think that there's actually, like, there's something really, it seems really easy to love somebody who's like super outgoing, and like, oh, everyone loves them, so like, of course you'd love them. But there's something really, really special about like being chosen and loved by somebody who is shy and quiet, and isn't like the most outgoing, like loud person in the room, because you know that you are really special to them. And like, you know, if someone who's really outgoing and who's everyone's friend wants to be your friend, that's nice, because no one wants to be your friend. But when somebody who is like kind of picky and choosy and withdrawn opens up to you, it's like this huge honor. And so I like watching Daphne open up to Miles, and vice versa through the book, really reminded me of that specialness that I relate to in my relationship. And I even highlighted this one part of the book where they like know that they have, so, you know, one thing we haven't really mentioned is that like early on they have a spark, but they're like, we can't complicate things.
Yeah.
We just got out of long relationships. Like, and then also one thing we haven't talked about is that Miles' sister like ends up coming to stay with them for like most of the summer.
Yeah.
So yeah. But anyways, there's this little excerpt. She says, sometimes at night from the other room, he texts me live updates when he listens to the audiobook of The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. Things like, I want to live with beavers, and what is Turkish delight, and Edmund needs to chill. Sometimes we text for an hour straight, like our doors aren't 10 feet apart. And my note that I made in the margins is like, this is actually what it's like to fall in love.
Yeah.
Like doing dumb stuff like that.
Yeah.
And like the closeness of like knowing you can text somebody what is Turkish delight.
Yeah.
With like no other context, and like feeling safe to do that, and like just wanting to.
Yeah.
That's like really what it feels like to fall in love. And like I think what makes this book feel a lot more real than some romance books is that it's just those like small little moments of intimacy instead of these huge grand gestures.
Yes.
Because huge grand gestures are few and far between in the real world.
Yeah.
Like
And
it's
that's not
really
really
more
what-
normal for
yeah.
us to just text about Mr. and
Yeah.
Mrs. Beaver, you know? Like that's real.
Shout out the beavers. Yeah, and I think along with what you're saying, there's a quote that I will definitely butcher, but where Miles is talking to Daphne and he's like, you like make a person feel like you love them for all of them. And I think that's kind of what you're saying of like she is more like maybe has a closer circle or doesn't like isn't as outgoing. So because of that, he feels like you have seen all of me and not just this gregarious version of me that, you know, Gil at the bar sees and loves, but like a person who also is deeply sad and wounded.
The dark stuff.
And you love all of me and not in spite of those things, but like those are part of me and you love it. And so I think that part was like making me cry as well, because I think that's exactly what you're saying of why this is such a compelling couple, because Miles is like, yeah, he could make probably anyone fall in love with him. He's incredibly charming. He's a bartender. Like people are always falling in love with their bartenders temporarily. You know what I mean? Like there's like, you know, even Ashley has this whole fake made up backstory for him when they first meet because she's seen him a couple of times. Like he's just so charming, but he loves Daphne and her like quietness and like who she is, and vice versa. Like she is able to like see all of him, which he doesn't normally show to people, and like loves him anyways. Those things he thought maybe were unlovable. So I think they're
exactly. It reminds me of the feeling of like, oh, I'm being loved even when I'm not performing, because like I am so the person to like captivate the table full of people with like a really funny story, and like you know I can just, you know, I just
you are
like
great. Yeah,
that's great, but also like I'm also like a deeply messed up person. You know, like, and I have like issues.
Yeah.
But like when somebody can see your issues and then like love that too.
Yeah.
You know, that's what's really special. And like it takes a special person to be able to see that, especially when you're the kind of person who's always projecting this veneer of like,
yes,
I'm so outgoing, I'm so accomplished, I'm so good, I'm so strong. But like if someone can really see that, that's huge. And it's just like, how did she capture that in like less than 400 pages? Like how did she make this about like very complex part of the human experience part of this 400-page romance book?
And
like,
it's also really
and
fun.
It's funny.
Yeah. It reminds me of one of my favorite, since we're going to compare Miles to Nick Miller.
Yes.
One of my favorite episodes of New Girl is when they go for his dad's funeral. And that's what this book reminds me of, because it's like funny, but it like it devastates you. And that's a moment where like this very funny, weird, like kind of dumb guy shows that he has this whole other side of himself that's really like from trauma, and like ultimately Jess and him fall in love. And I think a lot of it has to do with that moment, because she was able to see another part of his life. And so I would chase this book with that episode of New Girl, because I think that's a really good like pairing for you. But I love it. I love how she's able to like capture these human experiences. And again, it's a very compressed timeline. Like in reality, most people don't have things happen to them this quickly. And I like that she makes it feel still very real in a short book and on a short time frame.
Yeah. And even at one point, like, she's like fast forwards a few weeks. I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Like,
what's happening?
We're moving this fast? Oh my God. I even wrote that. I was like, hello?
Yes. It's very fast paced for sure, I think.
Okay. Do you want to talk about favorite quotes?
Yeah, so I pulled this one out. And this one's actually from a sad moment in the book, because it's her being like, Miles is not dependable. But I really like this quote anyways, and I think it kind of sums up what we're talking about. So she says, all of those moments throughout the days, weeks, months that don't get marked on calendars with hand-drawn stars or little stickers, those are the moments that make a life. Not grand gestures, but mundane details that over time accumulate until you have a home instead of a house. The things that matter, the things I can't stop longing for. Because I think, I don't know, Daphne, I just love this whole thing for her. Not just falling in love, but like she, again, we talked about her dad was not around, but also her mom moved a lot as a kid. And so she never had like a home. Like she remembers fondly their first apartment where her mom would have people over and it was like a 1-bedroom and it was super small. And then over time, her mom became more successful and they like moved around a lot and had maybe more things, but she doesn't have that same like home feeling. And so I just love for her that by the end she found a place that she can make like a mundane life there, you know, like it is, she just works at this library and she has regular kids she loves to help out and she has friends and she has like a coffee shop that she goes to. And I think those things are like, I don't know, I think
they're very significant to the character.
Yes, and they're important to her, and I think they're important in most people's lives. Like, most days are boring, and if you are just living your life waiting for those special moments or big gestures or whatever, like, that's wasting your life away. And so learning how to find the importance in those, like, mundane moments, I think is really wonderful, and I think that was a great resolution for her to find that, you know? So it was very... I loved it.
Yeah. One of my, I have a couple.
Please share.
It's cheating, but okay.
No. We want to hear them all.
So they, on the night that they go out, so first of all, this is so funny. They live in this part of town called the Meatpacking District or like the Butcher District or something like that. And they go out to this bar called the Meat Locker. And she doesn't realize that it has to do with the fact that they live in like the Meatpacking District. Until much later, and she's like, is this a fetish bar?
Yes, that was so funny.
Oh my God. But they get drunk and a little high and whatever. And so she says, I and the weed tell him, I think you might be the nicest person I've ever met. And he says, I'm not being nice when I tell you not to move away. I'm like hanging out with you, and you're the best roommate I've ever had by a landslide.
This is the thing for me, and I wrote this in my recap summary. Honestly, I thought they were gonna like hook up very early on.
No,
because there was instant chemistry between these two characters, and like more than is normal, I think, for a romance book. And then it ended up being maybe the like slowest slow burn that Emily Henry's ever done, and so I just loved it though because there was, like you said, all these like moments of intimacy between them before they ever even like kiss or anything, and I loved it. So anyways,
like but like not just physical intimacy, it's like emotional.
Yeah,
like you're the nicest person I've ever met. Okay, all right, so then there's this other moment where they're on like one of their weekend excursions for him to prove that she should continue to live in Waning Bay, and they one thing that's mentioned about the book is that she is like a pretty conservative dresser and she wears like, you know, kind of old lady clothes. So they go kayaking and then they end up swimming in the lake. And so she says they're like talking about, have you ever snooped in each other's rooms? And she says he says it's been spotless. He says not a single hint as to who you are. Pretty boring of me, I say. Mysterious, he counters, like a puzzle, or a highly organized silverware tray, I say. Under the water, our calves brush against one another. Okay, hot. A thrum travels straight up my thigh to my abdomen. The same way you dress. Like a silverware tray, I say. He shakes his head, another graze of her legs, a little higher this time, like a secret. Then it pays off. We see that same phrase again when they go to this old people's prom, which was the cutest thing I've ever read in a book in my entire life.
Yes.
And they run into Peter and Petra, which, as I'm saying this now, I'm also just realizing that their names are literally the boy and girl version of themselves.
Yes.
And so Petra is like backhand complimenting her on her dress. And she says, I love this dress. She's such a bitch.
Yeah.
I love this dress, she says. It's so different. Your usual style is so buttoned up. Ouch. Miles touches my back, his hand skimming over my far hip, pulling me into his side. Like a secret, he says. I am gnawing at the iron bars of my enclosure.
This to me was actually a moment that was moments like this, which there are very few, is a payoff for the fake dating, because she in her mind only thinks he's saying this and acting like this because they're fake dating and Petra's there and she thinks they're together. And so the payoff of knowing like, no, like
it's fake dating light.
Yeah, it's fake dating light. So
because the way that they get to know each other isn't only through the fake dating. That's why I would say it's fake dating light.
Right.
Because they get to know each other because he's trying to convince her to stay.
Yes.
Because he just like likes hanging out with her.
Because the fake dating moments are very, very brief. So if that was all they had, it would never have amounted to much, really.
Yeah.
They're very brief moments.
But I loved that. And I thought it was so cute and sweet. And I just was literally kicking my feet and giggling and squealing.
Okay. Get it together.
What else? What did we not like?
That's all I was going to say. Like? I felt like maybe the fake dating could have been taken out. Not that it had to. Like, I did not like it. I just didn't think it was really... It was just kind of an extra thing that was, like, not needed, in my opinion. And then I don't know how I feel about Peter and Petra breaking up at the end. I guess it makes sense, but I don't know. I think it makes sense because it's like another test for them of like, is he going to go back with Petra? Like, if Peter and Petra stay together, you're maybe always going to wonder, if he would have ever chosen her, if there was another option. But I just feel like that was another thing of like, oh, after all that, they don't even make it like 2 months, You would think it would last a little bit longer, but I mean, I didn't hate any of that. I just felt like it kind of was like, weird.
For me, I think actually, I mean, I didn't dislike her, but the little sister, what's her name?
Julia.
I could have done without. I mean, I get she needs to be there for Daphne to gain, like, okay, she was used for Daphne to gain more context about his family and like his emotional stuff.
Yeah.
Which is very much tied to like his family life. And also to keep them like, she's in their space. So it's kind of like a cooling effect on their like romance. But sometimes I was like, I don't really care about getting more details about your life.
Yeah.
But that's like a small thing. I wasn't mad about it. Like,
yes,
if I had to be picky, I would pick that.
Yeah, I agree. I think maybe that could have been less drawn out and you could have gotten the same information about Miles, but it could have been a shorter portion of the book. I also felt like whenever this is just a minor thing, but when her dad and her new stepmom came and they stayed in Starflare or Starfire or something.
Starfire.
And they stayed in Daphne's room. I thought that they should have made it so that Miles and Daphne had to share his bed.
Because, I was so mad.
Like, stop subverting the one bed trope. Just do it. Like, don't bring an air mattress into this,
Literally, I wrote in that point. That's where I was like, if they don't just finally get together. Also, another, as I'm looking at this, like, around that time, she says, I see him laugh, but I can't hear it. I feel robbed of the sound. I was like, oh my God.
Yes.
This is so much.
Yes. It was
so anyways, yeah, that would be my small critique, but
So some critique of the Miles flaking out at the end thing. I've seen, like, I'm not critiquing it. I've seen a lot of critiques of that, but I'll say I think the redemption for that is him showing up for her at the readathon and bringing all his friends and helping like save the day, because a bunch of people end up getting sick at this big event she's planned, and they're not even talking, and he like thinks she might be back with Peter or whatever, and he still shows up to help her. And so I think it's like, again, her dad needs to not be in her life in the same way. Like, she needs to have boundaries with her dad, because he for her entire life has done this thing where he promises he'll be there and then he doesn't show up, or he leaves or whatever. Miles, he did it one time. He had like, it makes sense in the timeline of life. Like, this is a very fresh breakup. She's calling him. He's trying to help. That's his whole motivation in life, is to help people, because he feels
it's
guilty.
a forgivable mistake.
Exactly.
If he does it once.
Like, to me, in my mind, I'm thinking, if he does it once and there's no redemption in the book, I understand the critique. But to me, him showing up at the readathon is like, he redeemed himself. He showed, I'm going to be there for you when it matters. This was one time. It was a mistake. I'm not going to be that person, though, over our lifetime. You know, I'm going to show up for you. So that's my critique to the critique. So,
okay.
I like Miles a lot.
Me too. Oh, so cozy. I want to go back and read it again. Okay, so much has been made about a bunch of her adaptations being made into movies. This one will inevitably be made into one as well. We can only hope and pray. Should we talk about fan casting?
We should. I put a lot of thought into this, if you couldn't tell.
I didn't. I'm so unimaginative. But one thing I do know is that Peter and Petra are both blonde.
Absolutely. I don't know if that was said, but it was obvious
implied
to me. Yeah. And for Peter,
he's giving blonde man energy.
I put Cord Overstreet, yes, from Glee. Okay, and hear me out, because he has been recently in a show that I really like on Apple Plus called Acapulco. And he played this exact character, basically, and was very funny, and I thought did a great job. And he's like attractive, but not really. So I feel like it really works for Peter, and he's in really good shape. But in that show, he plays like there's like the main guy, and then the girl that he's obviously in love with or whatever. They're gonna end up together at some point. He plays her fiance, and like, I don't know, I just feel like he's kind of smarmy. He's rich, but he's like not a bad person, you know? So I felt like this was perfect for Peter, in my opinion. And I thought Amanda Seyfried, how do you say it? Seyfried?
Yeah, Seyfried,
could be Petra, because Petra is kind of like, like, she's like whimsical, bohemian, but still incredibly hot and blonde. And I feel like Amanda Seyfried, that's how you say it, right?
Yeah, Seyfried.
Whatever. She has a good range, and I feel like she can play that type of character of like, kind of like maybe head in the clouds a little, but still like wealthy and white and hot, you know? I
think she can do that for sure.
Miles was really hard. I put Sam Claflin just because I feel like
he's always the guy in the book adaptations.
Is like is he the best guy in book adaptations? No. Is he the best actor? No. But when he is in a book adaptation, does that mean it's going to be good? Yes. So I put him as Miles, but I don't actually. I think he's too hot.
He's too hot.
And so then I got to
Miles has a dad bod.
I know. Then I got to Manny Jacinto from The Good Place, but he also is very hot. But I thought he could do like the somewhat stoner, but somewhat serious very well.
Oh no, he's way too hot. What are you talking about?
Yeah, no, he's extremely hot. But maybe they could dull it down a little bit for the movie. People change their appearances for movies all the time. I couldn't think of anyone else, so
okay.
I'm really stumped on this one.
I'm extremely unimaginative because I was like, Miles Teller, because Miles. Like, I just like my brain was just not like allowing me. But you know, maybe he's too old at this point, but Jake Johnson, he played
I just thought he was too old.
He might be too old now.
I mean, I thought they're supposed to be like
mid
early 30s. I thought they were supposed to be in their 30s, but Jake Johnson's got to be in his 40s.
Oh yeah, at least. I mean,
he's 45. He's way too old.
Okay, let me see.
But someone like
Daniel
him.
Radcliffe, no.
Too short.
I'm looking at actors in their 30s. Zephron, no.
No, unfortunately.
Oh, what about Dylan O'Brien?
I thought about him. I think he could do it. Yeah, I don't know. I just have a certain image. Neither Sam Claflin or Manny Jacinto are my version I have in my mind, but I can't quite figure out who that would be. Anyways,
maybe Joe Keery, who plays Steve in Stranger Things.
Yeah, I could actually see that working very well.
Sorry, I'm looking at a list.
He has to be able to grow a
actors
beard because that's a kind
what
of
about Josh Hutcherson? He's short.
But if you cast a short actress to play against him,
I don't know. I just kind of imagine Miles as being like only average height.
I thought it was contextual that he is tall, but I could be wrong.
Really?
I could be wrong. He could just be taller than the girl, you know.
I think maybe Dylan O'Brien is at the front of my list at this point.
Maybe someone will emerge in the time because we haven't even had a single Emily Henry movie yet. You know, like we have
plenty of
time.
Or
even a casting for one. There's not even an official
that's so
cast.
True. We are just.
Although I will say,
people age into their 30s by this point.
I feel very confident that Ashley should be played by Quinta Brunson. I don't know if it's said that she's short, but in my mind, she's a very short person, and I feel like Quinta definitely could be a librarian and is very funny, and so I feel like she would be the perfect Ashley character. So that is my fan cast. That's the one I'm confident about. Everything else I could be flexible on.
I couldn't pick anyone for Daphne because I kept picturing Daphne as Emily Henry. Yeah. So if Emily Henry can act, then I think she should be Daphne because
do a Stephanie Meyer. Be in your own movie.
I was like, I for some reason I just really felt like she put herself into it. Not that I know her. It just felt that way.
Maybe that's why I went with Emma Stone, because I actually feel like Emma Stone has a very similar, like her hair could be very similar at times, and like she could look like she could play Emily Henry in a movie.
Emma Stone is great. She can do anything.
Yes, exactly. That's why I thought for her, she could be so versatile. She could play against anyone. I feel like she has chemistry with everyone. So I think she would be great with no matter who Miles could be, which I have no idea. I saw you pictured Miles as Miles Teller. But I pictured Miles Teller as Win from Happy Place. So I'm stuck on that. So I can't have him be in this one too. Even though we did fan cast Joe Alwyn as Win from Happy Place, which I could also see.
The thing I'm struggling with is that like whoever it is, they need to kind of be like a little soft. Like I just like you can't have an 8-pack and be Miles.
No.
I just like that's the part that's not working.
For roles. They can easily. It's so easy to get rid of an 8-pack. I feel like you just don't do that stuff for like a week and then it goes away. I don't know. I've never had one, but I feel like anyone can get rid of an 8-pack. It's got to be easier to get rid of an 8-pack than it is to get an 8-pack, you know?
That's funny. Yeah, I mean, it was great. And I'm already depressed that...
Yeah.
But there are good things on the horizon, like coming out in the next month is The Guncle Abroad, which is exciting. And so that's...
Probably get ready to cry our eyes out again, knowing...
exactly.
Stephen Raleigh.
Super cozy, fun, comforting, sweet, and emotional summer read. Yeah. So,
and Emily Henry probably is already finishing up her next book. Yeah, I mean, it'll take time to get to us, but she's showing no signs of slowing down. So we have more to look forward to.
She's at the peak of her power.
Amen. Also, I wanted to ask you before we wrap it up. I saw an interview on TikTok with Emily Henry where she was asked to compare each of her books to a Taylor Swift. I think maybe they asked her album because all the things she named were albums. But I thought originally it was songs. But she said Happy Place is Red, which I agree. And then she said that Funny Story is the Tortured Poets Department. And what do you think about that? Since following up on the heels of our Taylor Swift episode.
Is there enough happiness in Tortured Poets?
Okay, I thought that as well. But... there are a lot of funny things in Tortured Poets. I mean, So High
and it's
School
also unhinged.
Is goofy. It's unhinged. And I especially thought the Prophecy song really definitely relates to Daphne and to Miles, honestly.
I was thinking of I Can Do It With a Broken Heart.
Yeah, that too.
That is what was coming to mind for me.
Yeah. So I just wanted to know what you guys think about that.
I can see it.
Yeah. I think of all the albums, it probably would be the Tortured Poets Department. I mean, yeah, it's a little unhinged, and
I'm just like, is it like, there's really, you know, arguably really only like 2 happy love songs on it.
right.
So I'm like, there's so much happiness in this book too.
Yeah.
And falling and like buzzy, excited, falling in love feelings. So, but you know, if Emily Henry said that that's what it is, then that's what it is. She's the authority.
Yeah. What can we say? Anyways, any final thoughts from you?
No, it was good. I'm glad we read it so quickly. And also my book club is reading this for May. So I'll have an opportunity to talk about it again with a bunch of friends in like a month.
That is so fun.
That's exciting.
Love it.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for being here. You're our friends.
Yes. All right. We'll catch you guys next time.
Oh, do you want to say what you've read recently?
Oh, right. That. Have I read anything recently besides this that I want to talk about? I have started a book called The Red Sparrow, which is a spy novel. I will report back next time how it is. I'm too far into the beginning to really say.
Okay.
But my friend Colleen gave it to me to read, and so I will report back. What about you?
Okay, I recently read Romantic Comedy by Curtis Sittenfeld, recommended to me by my friend Allie. And I feel like you and Allie are on the same page of me, as if you guys recommend me a book, I will automatically read it because I feel like I trust you guys. Anyway, so this is she should have led with this. I would have read it a lot sooner probably. But it's a celebrity normal person dating.
Oh, I'm there.
So it's interesting.
Putting it on hold.
So it takes place, it starts off at what is essentially, besides the name, SNL. And the main character, whose name I obviously forgot, as you guys know, she is a writer on SNL. And the host for this week's episode is this kind of like aging pop star who got really big in his early 20s. And so he's had a long career, but now he's like in his 30s, late 30s or whatever. And he's still big. He's still very famous, and he's hosting, and he's the musical guest this week. And so she's working with him on like writing sketches. She's pitching her ideas. And one of her ideas is based on her good friend, who's also a writer, who is essentially Colin Jost, who is essentially engaged to Scarlett Johansson. And her, her pitch idea is like, this sketch will be like the police coming to arrest a normal girl who is trying to date like a super hot pop star, which is this Noah. He's the main music guy. And they're like, no, it can only, like, this is illegal. It can only be the opposite, where a really like schlubby writer guy dates the super hot star model or whatever. Because like you see that happening so much and you don't really ever see it in the reverse. So that's her idea for the sketch. And he's like, who says it can never happen in the reverse? And so you can see where this is going. My critique. I loved the part of the book where they were on set in this SNL world. That part of it was super fast paced. I flew through it. There is okay, this is a small spoiler. Are you okay with the small spoiler?
I want to read this one.
Okay. Well,
can you be vague?
I will be extremely vague. There's just a time jump, and then the second half of the book I found to be a little slower. But I really liked it, how it resolved. I liked the ending. Like, it picks back up. I just wished almost the whole thing could have been, like, in this fast-paced SNL environment. And so it's not. So I will just say that warning that, like, I was like, okay, this is kind of starting to drag. But then by the end, it picked back up. So, yeah, but I thought it was really fun. Like, I love any version of this where a celebrity falls in love with a normal person. And I found this to be probably the most realistic version of that, because like how they met made sense, and then like the repercussions and them dealing with it. Like, I feel like they, like, the main character, I feel like she was very thoughtful about like, what does this actually mean? I don't know, like there's actual implications versus just like, this is fine, you know? So I felt like this was maybe the most realistic telling of what it would actually be like if that happened.
Is it like a very recent release?
I think it's relatively new. Yeah.
Because the LA Public Library only has one copy of it on Libby. So it's like several months late. So I think that they're going to probably acquire more copies in the very near future.
Circle back whenever.
But yeah, it's officially on my holds list. So
I think you're
excited to read it.
Anyways, that's it.
Amazing. All right, guys, we'll catch you next time.
Bye.
Bye.